Welcome to The Explainer. Look, with AI changing everything, the old rules about work and what's valuable, they're basically being thrown out the window. So today, we're going to dig into a powerful blueprint for success, and it's drawn right from the thinking of Elon Musk. This is all about how you can thrive in this wild new world.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a pretty wild idea from Musk. What if having a job actually became optional? I mean, really think about that. A future with so much abundance, all thanks to AI and automation, that you just don't have to work for a living anymore. It sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Even if work is optional, creating value, that's going to be absolutely essential.
And that brings us right to the very first rule in this playbook. We've got to completely rethink what productivity even means in this new era.
So here's the deal. Your value, it's not about how many hours you're glued to a chair anymore. Not at all. The new metric is all about the real, tangible impact you're making. So you've got to ask yourself, am I making something more efficient? Am I actually solving a problem for someone? Am I creating something that helps society? That, right there, that's the new currency. That's what's going to matter.
Okay, so to really make this big shift, you can't just change what you do. It goes deeper than that. You have to start by changing how you think. It's about adopting a whole new mindset, and it's built on 3 really important core principles.
And this really just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the old world, punching a clock, counting the hours. But on the other, that's the new world, tracking actual outcomes. Your focus has to shift to the stuff that really moves the needle. We're talking user growth, making things more efficient, driving revenue, not just how long you were on the clock.
All right, the second principle here is a big one. We have to completely rethink what money is. Musk doesn't really see it as power. He sees it as an information system. Think about it. When someone buys your product, they're not just giving you money. They're sending a signal. It's a little piece of data that says, hey, we need more of this resource right here. Suddenly, your whole business becomes a kind of information processor. And it kind of makes you wonder. Maybe in the future, the real currency will just be energy and how well we can use it.
And this quote right here, man, it just nails the final piece of this new mindset. Choose projects that solve a deep problem, not ones that just look cool. It's so simple, but so powerful. The goal isn't to chase trends or get likes on social media. It's about focusing on long-term impact. So when you're at a crossroads and you can either pick the flashy project that gets you noticed now or the one that builds real, lasting quality, you always choose quality.
Okay, so we've got the mindset down. But, a great mindset without a plan is just a nice idea, right? So now let's get into how this all translates into an actual actionable strategy. This is where we talk about execution, because at the end of the day, that's everything.
So your whole playbook for execution really comes down to these 3 pillars. First, you've got to invest for the long term. That means putting your time and money into foundational tech like AI and robotics, not just chasing whatever's hot this week. Second, you have to be absolutely obsessed with your product. And third, you need to be constantly thinking 10 years down the road, way ahead of the curve. Let's zoom in on that product first pillar for a sec. The whole idea here is to forget about chasing clicks and using cheap tricks to get attention. Instead, the process is super straightforward. Step 1, solve a real problem for a real person. Step 2, get their feedback. Step 3, actually listen and adjust based on what they tell you. And only then, after all that, do you think about scaling. That's how you build something that lasts, something built on a foundation of being genuinely useful. And this is where that future-first mindset really clicks into place. Look, it's not about having a crystal ball and predicting the future. It's about actively building it. Right now, today, that means you're building up your skills in these new technologies. In 5 years, your job is to be spotting the next big wave of problems that need solving. And in 10 years, well, the goal is to be the one creating the solutions that are going to define that next decade. Now, of course, we can't talk about building the future without talking about the most powerful tool we have ever created, artificial intelligence. And according to this blueprint, figuring out how to use it the right way, well, that's not just important, it's completely non-negotiable.
So what's the key insight here from Musk? It's that AI's main job, its #1 directive, should be finding the truth. That means we have to demand that our AI tools are built on a foundation of solid, reliable data. We have to use them to help us think better, not to do our thinking for us. And we have to hold them to incredibly high standards for quality and accuracy. At the end of the day, AI should be a tool that sparks curiosity, not one that just creates a bunch of noise and sensationalism. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We've talked about the mindset, we've talked about the strategy, and we've talked about the tools. Now let's wrap it all up into one simple, clear blueprint that you can actually take with you.
And here it is. This chart basically sums up the entire game plan. For every single principle, there's a direct action you can take. It's about swapping hours for outcomes. It's about understanding your business as a system of information. And it's always choosing to solve real problems instead of just chasing popularity. This right here, this is your playbook for building value that's going to last.
So there you have it. We've laid out the entire framework. The principles, the actions, the whole deal. This is a guide for creating real, meaningful value in a world that is just changing at an insane speed. So really, the only question left is, the blueprint is right here. What are you going to build with it?